Today, we're flying on one of the last Boeing 737-500s still carrying passengers. The operator in question, Air North, is a small regional airline based in the Yukon that's built a pretty strong reputation over the years. They've even been named the best airline in Canada by TripAdvisor, as well as the Traveler's Choice for Specialty Airlines in North America in 2020. So today, we're going to put those awards to the test. The plan is to take Air North's Boeing 737-500 from here in Vancouver over to Kelowna, a quick hop over the mountains into the Okanagan, and then right back to Vancouver. Normally this route is dominated by the big Canadian legacy carriers like Air Canada and WestJet, but today we're going to see how a small northern airline from the Yukon stacks up on one of Western Canada's busiest short-haul routes, and this just might be the perfect mission for the 737-500. The Dash 500 is one of the smallest members of the 737 family, and it was built exactly for short regional routes like this that require high aircraft performance. Also, on short-haul flights like this, the crew is going to have almost no time, if any, to deliver service, which makes every tiny detail count, and there's really nowhere to hide if the service ends up not being great. So if Air North really does deserve all those awards, we should be able to see that pretty quickly. What's it like flying on one of the last Boeing 737-500s still in operation, and one of the only variants of the 737 Classic I haven't flown on yet? Does the Yukon's little airline really deserve an experience worthy of all those titles? In 2023, Air North started bringing on the newer 737-800 Next Gen, which means that these classic 737-500s won't be around forever. So let's go take a ride on one while we still can. What's going on, guys? Casey Flyer here. Let's go take one of the most endangered versions of the Boeing 737 still carrying passengers. And we're doing it on two routes that are basically perfect for the airplane. Let's go check in. Checking in on their somewhat outdated booking interface is super basic. After letting it know who you're checking in, you'll have another chance to choose where to sit. Last, we'll get to add on any last minute bags, but then after that, the boarding pass is ready. Alright, the aircraft just parked, and man does she look nice. I want to say this might be my first time seeing a 737-500 in person, obviously. It's always a cool feeling when it's your first time seeing a specific aircraft in person, but it's also your first time flying on that specific aircraft when it's at the same time, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, the people are coming off of it that are coming from Whitehorse, and then we're going to get on it heading to Kelowna. It's a continuation flight, so it's a flight that ran under the same flight number that ran all the way from Whitehorse to Vancouver to Kelowna, and then on the way back, it's the same thing, continuation flight under a different flight number, which just runs Kelowna to Vancouver and then back up to Whitehorse. So yeah, not gonna lie, super excited for this one. One of the most rarest versions of the 737, and we're gonna go see it and fly on it. So I'll go ahead and catch you guys at the seat. Charlie Golf Alpha November Juliet will be the ride to Kelowna and back this afternoon. The 33-year-old Classic was delivered to Aer Lingus in February of 1993 as Echo India Charlie Delta Sierra, followed by Air France in March of 99 as Foxtrot Golf Juliet November Victor, Lithuanian in May of 04 as Lima Yankee Alpha Zulu Yankee. In September of 2005, it stuck with that same tail number with Failal. It then went to Air Cuenca in June of 2010 as Hotel Charlie Charlie Juliet Bravo, before finally making it to Air North in August of 2010. How are you?
Okay.
Good. I made the quick walk back to seat 15A. We got a width of 17 inches, a pitch of 32 for legroom, which is 1 point on my seat to the same point of the seat in front of me, and a recline of 3. Alright, welcome aboard the Air North 737-500 bound for Kelowna. First impressions on the seat so far? Yeah, it's very standard, not much to it, pretty much exactly what's expected from a 737 Classic. There's no entertainment amenities that the seat offers, such as in-seat power, a device holder, or entertainment monitor. All that stuff goes without saying. But as far as the seat itself goes, the dimensions are pretty good. The legroom's alright. We have 32 inches of pitch down there for legroom, so 32 inches between 1 point on my seat to the same point on the seat in front of me. The recline is also good, and the cushioning is also good. So the cushioning the seat has is actually really, really comfy. So the seat itself is good. It'd be interesting to see what the airline does to make up for lack of entertainment because, as I said, there's no Wi-Fi, IFE obviously, and no in-seat power. So it'd be interesting to see why this airline is so good and what's making it live up to the reputation it has. I mean, it has all of its awards and it has its good reputation somehow, but it doesn't have anything for like entertainment and all, which is fine. I saw that coming. That's fine. But yeah, I'm just saying it'd be cool to see what they do to compensate for lack of any entertainment amenities. But anyway, yeah, we're getting ready to push and start, and we will be airborne on the way to Kelowna momentarily. We are in the air out of Vancouver and on our way over to Kelowna. A couple brief things about the cabin itself is that it does not look like it has changed or been refurbished at all since it was originally flying 30 years ago. But yeah, I don't think it has changed much in the past 30 years just because it still has the original 737 cabin, which, I mean, if you look at it, that kind of goes without saying. But regardless, it looks really, really cool being the original 737 cabin. It also isn't the cleanest because I don't think it has been refreshed or refurbished that much in the past 30 years either, because there are some dirt spots and wear and scratches and all that are kind of obvious, but I don't think anybody cares that much because it has the high ratings and the high reputation that it does. There's also a massive spot of wear and tear at my seat that was pretty noticeable as I got in, but again, I don't think anybody cares about it that much. But yeah, as far as the entertainment goes, I opened my Wi-Fi settings. There's no Wi-Fi, like I said, and in the seat back pocket, there's just literature. So as far as that, that's really the only thing the airline provides in terms of entertainment and occupying us, is just the seat back literature. But yeah, the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign, and it's pretty smooth out there. I don't think, nor don't really know, what the cabin crew are going to do in terms of services. Since this is only like a 35-40 minute flight maximum, I have no clue what they're going to do in terms of services, if any. But yeah, next time you see me, there's either going to be a cabin service or we're going to be at top descent. Yeah, the Thousand Seaport sign is back on. It's bumpy, and we are pretty well into our descent now, and the flight attendants haven't come through with any service at all, which really isn't that surprising. The Thousand Seaport sign was really only off for 10 minutes, maybe, maximum. They could have maybe gotten away with a quick water service to everyone. But yeah, to be on the safe side, that's only 10 minutes. And they probably could have gone through the whole thing. So I think the flight is just simply too short for that. But I'm not complaining. That's just me being nitpicky. We can go 30 minutes without water. But yeah, we are on final descent into Kelowna, and I'll catch you guys after landing. Alright, welcome to the Lure review on the Air North 737-500. Went on the ground, so here we are after parking. Pretty standard 737 Lure, with a pretty interesting, different looking flush handle we got. We got the Air North soap there, with water, hot and cold, with a big arrow pointing to the garbage. With a mirror with me. Changing table, the loo itself, towels, toilet paper, sink with all the soap in it. But yeah, nothing special. Pretty standard 737 loo. After taking a look inside the facilities, I found myself near the back galley, so I went ahead and gave one of the crew members a chance to show why the airline has the high reputation that it does, since they didn't get to do anything on the quick flight over here. No, yeah, I've heard you guys are famous for your warm cookies.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Let's see what I have extra.
Okay. So is it typically like that and like the drinks and stuff that you give out on the longer flights?
Longer flight, it's usually the 2 hours at least.
So okay.
Between Vancouver and Whitehorse.
Okay, thank you.
They're from the first leg or right before you hop on.
Nice, yeah.
What's your name?
I'm Raleigh.
Raleigh?
Yeah.
With the I-E?
E-I-G-H, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
John May.
Hi, May, yeah. I'm actually going to be heading right back to Vancouver with you guys.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll be right back on.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, you will. Alright, I'd like to be the first to welcome you to beautiful Kelowna, British Columbia. Not only did we get that amazing approach with that iconic 737 Classic wing view, but we didn't get a service on that flight. But I made friends with one of the cabin crew in the back galley. Shout out to May. and she let me try the cookies that they typically give out on the longer flights. So it might not be warm because it's from the first leg when the aircraft came from Whitehorse. It might not be warm, but it's a cookie nonetheless, and the big food item that they're known for, or snack item that they're known for on their flights. But let's go ahead and put the taste to the test and have the snack zone on board, but not on board. Okay, the fact that it's cold now does not help it. So it doesn't taste at all. Really, initially, it doesn't really have that much taste. The aftertaste is alright. You can taste it then, and it tastes alright. But again, it really doesn't help it that it isn't warm anymore. But yeah, I like the fact, or the idea, the concept of them having like homemade chocolate chip cookies on their flights, like up north. She said that they have them on the flights that are longer than 2 hours, or 2 hours or more.
2 hours at least.
Or something like that. But yeah, nonetheless, since we didn't get to see the crew at all really on the flight over, since it was so short, it was really cool that we got to actually interact with one of them at the end and actually get a taste for the airline service itself. But anyway, yeah, we have a pretty good hour to kill until we have to board back to Vancouver. So let's go for a walk outside. It's pretty nice out, and it's also extremely beautiful out. And very conveniently placed, the Okanagan Rail Trail runs right by the airport. So now I'm just taking a relatively quick half-hour walk before we have to go through TSA and board the flight back to Vancouver. I just put on a 15-minute timer each way. So once that goes off, I will go ahead and turn back and make my way back to the airport to go back through security. But yeah, I mean, right now, it still feels like it's winter because I'm filming this in early March. So maybe come back in the later spring or in the summer even when it'll be warmer and maybe a bit more green. We got a Avro RJ taking off right there. That belongs to, I want to say Summit Air, I believe is the air carrier. But yeah, an Avro RJ looking really, really cool nonetheless. But yeah, maybe come back here later spring or summer when there's a bit more green around. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, this honestly isn't bad. It's 46 degrees, not too windy, cloudy, partly cloudy. 7/8 of the sky are filled with clouds. But yeah, it's alright. It's cool. I'm not complaining. If anything, it'd be nice to have more time here. I know I say that a lot and kind of beat that to death. It'd be nice to have more time here just so I can walk further on this and maybe walk all the way to downtown Kelowna, as I want to say with the sign said back there, it's 13 kilometers this way. So it'd be cool to like properly hike down the rail trail and go to like properly downtown Kelowna. But yeah, it's alright. It is what it is. Quality over quantity. Quality of time hiking on the trail is greater than the quantity of time. But yeah, I'm not complaining. Just gonna walk here for a few more minutes and then turn around back to the airport. Alright, timer went off. This looks like a pretty good place to turn around. We didn't get very far. We only started at that intersection area in the distance where that blue truck is going by. We didn't get very far. But yeah, time to walk back to the terminal, get through TSA, and board the plane back to Vancouver. And just like that, we're back through TSA, and it's time for immediate boarding. Long time no see.
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you. For the way back, we'll be in 3F, with the same dimensions as 15A we had coming over here. A width of 17, a pitch of 30, and a recline of 3.
Alright, welcome back aboard the 737-500, this time over to Vancouver. The seat goes without saying, it's the exact same as the last seat. Actually, if anything, I feel like this one has less legroom than before, like 2 inches less. Like, I think the last one had 32 inches of pitch, when I think this one has closer to 30, which is a bit interesting. But yeah, same wear and tear as last time. Honestly, I don't care how much wear and tear it has, because that's just showing its age, which I think is really cool. But other people, I don't think seem to care about it. But yeah, this also doesn't have in-seat power. It goes without saying, so I have my power bank up here with me to keep my phone charged, because it was just about dead by the time I got off of the flight into here. So yeah, I got my power bank to keep my battery charged, so hopefully you guys can do the same thing and come prepared to prepare for the 737 Classic not having in-seat power, which again goes without saying, but you know, some people won't know. But yeah, we're just now doing our final cabin checks, and we'll be pushing out of here momentarily on our way to Vancouver.
My good friend Connor from Window Seat Films had a little bit more time than I did with them, because he took a turn with them to Whitehorse and back, and he almost got a full meal with a breakfast sandwich and fruit on the way up, and a cold turkey sandwich for lunch on the way down. It wasn't ideal that I couldn't try them for myself and report back, but here are some pics he took of them from his flight and what he thought.
We are in the air out of Kelowna and on our way to Vancouver. The one thing I don't love about the cabin cleanliness and just the overall cabin presentation as a whole is that the windows are just really scratched up, which makes it really difficult to film out of. But that's about the only thing that I actually care about with the cabin. And as far as any services go on this flight, I don't think there's going to be anything. When I spoke to May in the back galley on the ground in Kelowna before, she kind of made it seem like that they don't really do anything under 2 hours or even an hour and a half. So there's no reason that they would do any sort of service on this flight that's 30, 45 minutes. But what they did do for service, I put that in quotes, is that when I told May back there that I came for the 737-500 and the guys up there saw me come back on, they gave me these stickers. How cool is that? So one of them is the 737-800 and the other looks like the 500, which looks really, really cool. So they did do that to kind of make up for not having any sort of service in the air and living up to their reputation. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use the rest of the flight time into Vancouver to rate the flight using my channel original rating system. I call it the Raleigh rating scale, very creatively named because my first name is Raleigh. If you're new here, I use the scale to rate all the airlines I take at the end of every one of my airline reviews. It uses 6 different categories to see how well each airline did out of each of the 6. But if you're not new here, good job. You made it this far. How do you think Air North did today? Well, let's go land in Vancouver and find out.
The service was a 10 out of 10, as in the end, they really didn't have any time to execute any kind of service on either flight. But despite the short flight durations, the crew showed all the care and hospitality that they're so well known for. On the longer flights lasting a couple hours, they do come through with a variety of larger snacks and drinks depending on the flight and time of day. On these ones, despite never physically coming through the cabin in the air on any of the 2 legs, they easily recognized my interest in their operation. They kindly offered me their famous chocolate chip cookie, stickers of their aircrafts, and asked me if I wanted to check out the flight deck. They also didn't mind chatting after the flight for a couple minutes at the end either. The cleanliness was a 6 out of 10, as it was really only at the seat area and less so the cabin itself, but there are scratches and wear and tear pretty much everywhere at the seat. For the aircraft's age, they did a pretty great job at maintaining the cabin atmosphere, but just not the seat area. As mentioned, in reality though, I don't think that many people really cared about that though, but I however cared quite a bit about the scratches on my window. The Wi-Fi was a 0 out of 10, as none was available. The food was a 9 out of 10. On the longer flights, when they have the time for a proper meal service, they can give out the larger snacks with a drink throughout the day, such as their different types of sandwiches. They also have their signature warm chocolate chip cookie. When I tasted it, it wasn't that much in the beginning, but it had a pretty strong aftertaste. You can definitely tell that it would have been better warmed up, but that goes for all chocolate chip cookies, let's be honest. As far as the drinks go, they have the standard coffee, tea, sodas, juice, water, and various alcoholic beverages like beer and wine. Those are all offered when they have the time to give them out on the longer flights that last a good hour or 2. If you know anything else regarding what they have on the longer flights that may be more accurate or current, let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. The entertainment was a 0 out of 10, as nothing was provided on board to keep us busy. No in-seat power, so bring a power bank. There's no Wi-Fi, so download content, and a seatback entertainment monitor is out of the question. The seat was an 8 out of 10, as it didn't have any of the entertainment amenities mentioned before, but that was expected. The dimensions were fine to stay comfortable, the cushioning was amazing, the recline was okay, and the legroom was pretty good at that seat in the back, but ironically, it felt a few inches less in the seat up front, which I approximately paid 10 Canadian dollars for, which is $7.34 US, for that seat in the front with presumably less legroom. And also by the looks of it, the seats on Air North's 737-800's next gens are the same. So the overall rating for the airline is going to be a 5.5 out of 10. Hey, how are you?
Hey,
What's up?
not much about yourself.
I'm okay, thank you. I'm an aviation enthusiast, and I came here to fly via 737-500.
Oh, nice.
Nice, yeah. So do you fly this, the 4, and the 8?
Yes.
Awesome. Do you have a favorite or preference?
800s are nicer.
Yeah.
I don't mind the classics though.
Yeah. Yeah, with the other, like, people I've spoken to that fly both the classic and the next gen, they seem to opt for the next gen.
It's a bit easier. Yeah.
But yeah.
So what jets have you been on? Or what? Yeah. Or was it easier to say what jets haven't you been on?
Do you guys have a preference between working the 5, 8, or 4?
We prefer the 8.
The 8?
Yeah.
I'm noticing that's a theme between everybody.
We've been on these for a long time, so it's just nice to have something new.
Change the scenery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Nice.
More efficient.
Oh, yeah, I'll grab my
shuttle
stuff.
to catch.
Okay. And I got a flight to catch. But the crew on that flight, they really did everything. Not that they knew at all, they didn't know. They did everything they could to still enhance the flight experience, despite how short it was. And they wanted to make the service stand out, despite how short the service was. Like on the descent into Vancouver, they gave me those stickers. And after landing, as we were already planing, I didn't even have to ask to visit the flight deck. They just offered me, and I said, yeah, sure, and I went up. But it was a really cool 737 Classic flight deck with pretty much everything all original. But yeah, apart from that, my final thoughts on Air North today. Yeah, it was amazing. It not too different from the other 737 Classics I've covered. No Wi-Fi, no power, no entertainment of any sort. Not that it's really necessary. So on the longer flights that are 2 hours or more, download content, bring a portable charger. And with the services, we didn't have any time in the air either way. Those 2 flights went by super fast, so it's not like we had time for anything anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna go get some rest, some sort. My next flight out of here, I'm not filming. And to be honest, I'm debating whether I want to even take that or not, or just get a room here and get some rest tonight, because I've been traveling nonstop since basically Saturday morning for the past 3.5 days. It's Tuesday night now, and I've been resting, basically sitting up on the Trans-Pacific flights that I've been taking these past couple videos. Hey, it's 3 months in the future after I took that flight and took that trip, and I am feeling so much better. It's 2:30 in the morning, and I'm just about to finish editing the video. Briefly, what happened after I finished filming that outro segment is I was supposed to fly standby on a United flight from Vancouver down to San Francisco. I missed that, and it then took me a crazy long time to get out of the immigration area, because in Canada you have to clear US immigration before you board your flight, still in Canada. But yeah, it took me a while to get out of immigration after not getting on that United flight to San Fran. I did end up getting a room. I just had to sleep that sickness off. It didn't completely go away, but it went away to the point where I was able to travel out that following day. Slept until basically like late morning. Took a 12:30 United flight out to Houston. Got like one of the last seats, like 21E, I think, if I remember correctly. Down to Houston, 4.5 hour flight. I slept the entire thing, so it wasn't like a massive thing. Got there, my St. Louis flight right after, ton of open seats. It just got delayed a lot. So, not even that, it got canceled. So that St. Louis flight then got canceled out of Houston. I ended up sitting in the airport on a chair for like 12 hours, so not great. My body was feeling fine. The food poisoning wasn't, phase 2 of that food poisoning thing didn't really get to me yet when I was there. But yeah, overnight in Houston, in the terminal, in the chairs, not great. So what ended up happening is I was able to get on an empty flight to Denver at like 4 or 5 in the morning out of Houston, and then I was able to catch a Southwest flight from Denver to St. Louis. and I didn't get back until like late morning, early afternoon. The 2 days after I finished filming this video. So yeah, not great. But yeah, see you guys on the next adventure where I'll be a lot better. Bye for now.